Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to Kentucky, Mid-Ohio, and Michigan all in one episode with Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. But there you see the news for today. Denny Hamlin earned his 4th win of the season after a thrilling Watkins-Glen finish involving myself, Kyle Busch, Hamlin, and whatnot. Kyle Busch expressed his anger towards myself after the last lap events at Watkins-Glen, and I will have a contract update coming very, very soon here in the career mode. And Matt Tifft continues to close in on a top 30 spot in the points, which will put him in the playoffs as he continues to close that gap each and every race to P30 in the points. So we'll see if Tifft can kind of get in and kick Brad Keselowski out of the playoffs. But we come into the Truck Series where we had Greg Biffle in the truck for us as he started about the midfield in this race, and he would sure enough though move forward throughout this race as we came straight to the final lap as he was right on the back of the 24 of Brett Moffitt as he came through out of turns 4 in P3 behind that 24 truck as he went down this front straightaway. He was going to come through to cross the line to finish in a very solid 3rd place for us here in Kentucky in the Truck Series. So now we come to the Xfinity Series road racing at Mid-Ohio where we had subscriber Kyle Kesenich in the car. Unfortunately, we started at the back of the field, so obviously he just had to try and find his way through traffic throughout this race in Mid-Ohio. Certainly one of the tougher road courses, I think, on the Xfinity Series schedule that we go to now as he went down into turns. So just trying to play it pretty cautious, making sure he didn't make any silly mistakes at this point, but he would slowly but surely kind of move his way throughout the field. He was certainly struggling to get through now as he went down into turns 2 up the right-hand side of Tyler Reddick at this point. Now as he came through to the final lap, heading down into the final few corners, he actually went off the track a little bit wide there into the grass, but he didn't lose any positions from it as he was just in front of Jeffrey Earnhardt. But it was a very rough day for us here in Mid-Ohio as he would come through. Kyle Kesenich finished in P26 here for us in the Xfinity Series. So definitely not what we wanted, but starting at the back, we certainly didn't expect a great result now as he came through to Michigan in the Cup Series for qualifying, setting a 39.132 in quali, going P17, so setting us up on that inside lane now as we get ready to start this 2nd race at Michigan this season. And on the pole, we got Kurt Busch.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series races back to Michigan International Speedway. Now, Michigan is the fastest track in NASCAR, making it a favorite of race fans. It's time to head down to the track and find out who's the fastest racer. NASCAR Racing is next.
All right, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the Consumers Energy 400 here in Michigan. Jimmy Johnson is happy with us, so we don't have to worry about him going after us anytime soon. There is Ryan Blaney, crashed during qualifying, so he is starting at the back of the field after switching over to a backup car. There, as you see, the front row of Kurt Busch and our Stewart Haas Racing teammate and champion Kevin Harvick from the 2014 season. Now as we're ready to go green here, now from P16, because Blaney gets sent to the back, now as the green flag is out, and we are underway here at Michigan International Speedway. Michael McDowell on the 34 on my inside. He is in the playoffs, keep in mind, after getting a win earlier this season at Martinsville Speedway. Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick on that front row. There you see Denny Hamlin up in that 2nd row on the bottom in P3 as he has the most wins currently this season at 4 after winning last episode in Watkins Glen when he went down into that final corner side by side with myself. Now as we head down this back straightaway for the first time, here in Michigan, just behind the 88 of Alex Bowman. The Hendrick Motorsports driver started the season off really strong, got a win in Las Vegas, and he hasn't really done a whole lot since then. I expected Bowman to be a lot stronger throughout the season, but we just haven't seen it. There you got Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, all of those Hendrick guys on the outside with wins, and then we got William Byron, of course, who is winless, still in the career mode, still looking for his first career win in total. Now as we would get past Johnson, we looked up the inside of Chase Elliott on lap 3, and we would clear Chase Elliott out of turns 2, and then we would get moving forwards continuously. We passed Ryan Newman, we got to the inside of William Byron, now up to P13, and then we would get up to P12, going up the inside of Michael McDowell on lap 6 into turns 3, as well as we got up the inside of our teammate of Eric Almirola, who has 2 wins on the season. One obviously at Daytona where we helped him, and then one at New Hampshire, so he's locked into the playoffs to come through on lap 9 now. We had just sliced up the inside of Eric Jones here, trying to get ourselves now inside the top 10. Jones doesn't give us a ton of room, but it was enough when I lost the back end of the car there, and that allowed Chase Elliott to get up my inside, and then he would actually continue to try and battle with us as we came out of turns 2 now on lap 10. I had fought back to the outside of Jones, but just didn't quite have the momentum there. So Elliott now gets to my inside as we go down this back straightaway, giving a shot to the back bumper there of the 20 of Eric Jones now as we go down into turn 3. Elliott still up the inside as I want to take over P10, but just didn't quite have the momentum that I needed. Now as the 9 gets right back to our left-hand side as we're side by side down the front straightaway with Elliott, and I decided to kind of drop down and give him a little bit of a side draft as we came through to cross the line, nearly making contact. There was a little bit of contact there as you see his car a little bit loose, as he would though clear us for P11 down into turns 1. Elliott then would get past Eric Jones, and then I would follow through with Elliott. I would get to the inside of Jones a little bit later on lap 12 of 14 here in stage 1, and we would pass and clear Eric Jones down into turns 1, trying to set our sights on Elliott for that last spot in the points here in stage 1, as we would take the white flag in P11 just behind that 9 car. Michael McDowell there in P12 just behind me as we come through turns 1 and at turns 2 for the final time here in the stage, starting to deal with the car getting pretty loose, and sure enough, at turns 2 we're very sideways. A little bit of contact made, saving the car with Michael McDowell as he clears us going down this back straightaway. Certainly not what we needed, but thankfully we keep this car straight as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time. McDowell putting some pressure on the back of the 9 as we close right back up on the 34, but just didn't quite have enough to give it to him there as we come through down this front straightaway. It would be Kurt Busch who wins stage 1. Elliott's going to barely hold on to P10 over Michael McDowell, and we come through to get P12 here in stage 1. So definitely not really what I was hoping for, but hopefully we can adjust on the car here in the stage break and maybe find our way inside the top 10 here for this second stage. Obviously it was 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires. The right rear was at 13%, and we would gain 1 spot there and get ready to go P11 here for stage 2. Kyle Larson lining up just in front of us on the row with Chase Elliott in the 9 car. Kyle Larson has to win his way as well into the playoffs. Pretty much everybody behind that cut line right now in the playoffs has to win to get in now as we come through to start this second stage here in Michigan. 12 laps to go. Eric Jones, Eric Almirola behind us, Michael McDowell on my right hand side. Now we get to the inside of Chase Elliott, Ryan Newman, and even Martin Truex Jr. As Newman gets a little bit aggressive, we're going to go 3 wide with Newman and Truex. Martin Truex Jr. surprisingly still winless this season, and same for Brad Keselowski. And Keselowski might be in a situation where he's going to have to win. He is in the top 10 in points, but he might have to win if he wants to be in the playoffs, especially if Matt Tifft finds his way inside to the top 30 in points before we finish Indianapolis. Now as we come through out of turns 4 down this front straightaway side by side with the Roush Fenway driver Ryan Newman, still hoping to see him in the car soon in real life now as we would slice to the outside lane here of Kyle Larson just behind the 2 car of Keselowski, and that move did not go well for myself because Newman, he was able to hop on the opportunity, get to my inside, and then I just didn't have a great corner in general. So we get cleared by Newman, and then now as we come through on lap 6 of the stage, Larson had gotten passed by Newman. Newman was showing a good chunk of speed here today in Michigan as I would clear the 42 of Larson out of turns 4 now and take over P7 as we would follow Newman and Denny Hamlin now as we came through a few laps later. On lap 8, Kurt Busch still leading the way, showing a lot of speed as we exit turn 2 just behind that 6 car. Now there's a slow curve, Denny Hamlin there down the back straightaway. Big issues for Hamlin. Looks like he's blowing an engine or something as we go down into turn 3. It stays green as we now take P6 just behind Ryan Newman as we go down into turn 3. But now things are escalating behind us. The 24, the 12, the 34, the 10. Many cars are having an incident there as that would bring out the caution here in turns 3. Cars trying to avoid Denny Hamlin certainly ended up getting bitten pretty bad by that now as you saw the pit strategy change from the AI there before we went back to green. So we had a bunch of cars stay out, but I decided to come into the pit lane so we wouldn't have to pit here at the end of stage 2, which lines us up P15 for the start here of the final lap. It's a green, white checkered, I guess. We're straight to the checkered here with a 1 lap dash here in stage 2 as we go down into turns 1 of the inside of Kyle Busch. So all of a sudden, Kurt Busch actually still leading the way, but now he is going to have to pit at the end of the stage, which might have just completely handed away the victory from Kurt Busch now. As we're going to be 4 wide down the back straightaway, Kyle Busch, Landon Castle, Jamie McMurray, myself, as we go down into turn 3 for the final time here in stage 2, going up the inside of the 71 of Ryan Truex, as well as getting up the inside of David Reagan as we come through out of turns 4. Joey Logano in P2 just behind Kurt Busch. Keselowski up there in 3rd, but it's going to be Kurt Busch winning stage 2 as we come through to cross the line just behind the 8 of Daniel Heinrich, getting P7. So definitely a solid finish. We were the best finishing car there out of the cars that did come to the pit lane. But Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, they all have to pit, so definitely not sure about that call if you ask me. I think that was definitely the wrong call. All the cars that just pitted do not have to pit, so we're going to be lining up P1 actually here for the 3rd and final stage. I think it's pretty clear, though, that we don't have winning speed in the car here today, so I wasn't expecting to hold on to the lead very long now as the green flag is out, and the third and final stage is underway here in Michigan now. As we come through to cross the line, it is 18 laps to go. Kyle Busch on my outside would love to get career win 73, putting him one win closer to Dale Earnhardt. Now as we go down into turns 1, Ryan Newman gets up the inside of Kyle Busch and is going to follow through to take P2 as we exit turn 2, heading down this back straightaway here for the first time of this third and final stage. You see Kevin Harvick kind of building up a run here on that inside lane, but Newman and myself kind of up here by the wall as we go down into turn 3. There is one car on the pit lane currently, and I would assume that is the 11 of Denny Hamlin, who blew that engine there, bringing up that caution with that whole mess that happened with William Byron, Ryan Blaney, and multiple other cars. Eric Almirola was in that as well. And as we come through, though, to at least lead one lap here in Michigan as we hit 17 laps to go. Harvick, of course, trying to get up here in the mix as well. It's been a little bit since Kevin Harvick has won this season. Now as we come through down into turns 1, we actually hit the apron just a little bit there and slide up the track. Now as we come through out of turns 2, now this is behind us. Things are escalating 5 wide with Jimmy Johnson, Tyler Reddick, the 34, the 14, the 32. They all get together. They keep it straight, and as that was happening, Harvick would be able to make the pass on me down the back straightaway into turn 3 as Larson finds himself up in P2, getting passed though by Kyle Busch. As all of a sudden I'm dropping like a rock. Like I said, we did not have winning speed in this car, and you can see it right there as we would drop down to P6. Now as Larson, he would have started falling back a little bit, but running that outside, trying to use that momentum from that top lane as he would go 3 wide as a caution would come out here with 15 laps to go. And obviously I'm thinking about the whole tire situation. What do we do? The tires look good, but I decided to take 4 tires because we still had a full fuel run to go, and to my surprise, well, we did not make the right strategy call. I guess that's not surprising. We dropped down to P21, which was very baffling. Obviously, this season, the strategy, I think I've done worse this season with strategy than I did last season. Very unfortunate, but like I said, there was a full fuel run to go, and they decided to not take 4 tires. Tell me in the comment section how that makes sense. I've seen, I've had some people say that I'm intentionally messing with the strategy, but no, why in the world would the AI not take 4 tires on a full fuel run to go? Not sure why that is, but either way, once again, we screw it up as we go down into turns 3, and it was Kyle Larson actually out front now as we go up the inside of the 34 of Michael McDowell. It was, I think, Newman up there in P2 just behind Kyle Larson, but Newman won earlier this season at Talladega. He's locked in the playoffs. Kyle Larson would love to be able to hold on to this lead, but it's unlikely to happen now as we go down into turns 1 here, trying to get up the inside of Kevin Harvick. Now as Newman would actually take the lead briefly, but then it was Kyle Busch who cycled through to take the lead. But we had worked our way back inside the top 10 after that whole pit strategy mess now, as we were just kind of following the 2 of Brad Keselowski for Penske Racing, and then we came through on the lap 42 up the inside of Stenhouse down into turns 1, passing him for P7. So we just kind of continued to move forward. We got past Martin Truex. We got up the inside of Chase Elliott. Now trying to take P5 as we exit turns 4 with the 9. Side drafted myself pretty hard on the exit of the corner. Surprise, surprise now, as side drafting is always a big thing at these types of tracks now. So I decided to give it back a little bit to the 9, but he had so much momentum, he would be able to clear me down into the corner, but I sent it up the inside anyways, and we would be able to pass Chase Elliott. But that little battle right there with Elliott allowed the 2 car to get away, and I would not be able to regain the draft from the cars ahead. So all of a sudden we were P5, just kind of stuck here now, and I felt like we were about a 5th or 6th place car when we were at our best, so it wasn't really a surprise. But on lap 46, Martin Truex Jr. had run me down and gotten to the inside of myself through turns 1 and turns 2 with only 5 laps to go. Kyle Busch was leading at this point. I decided to just get in line behind the 19 so I can at least draft him and not really have to worry about losing time. So we just kind of continued to draft the 19 of Truex. Kyle Busch continued to lead. I was expecting a caution any moment, but we come to 2 laps to go. We were closing in a little bit towards the 6 and the 42 as we continued to draft off of Truex, but the caution just wasn't happening. So Kyle Busch was coming through, getting ready to take the white flag. It was Brad Keselowski in P2 who was closing in on Kyle Busch each and every corner, but he didn't quite have enough time. He knows he might need to win to make the playoffs now as we come through on this final lap here in Michigan. At this point now is trying to set up Martin Truex Jr. for a move as we go down into turn 3, up the inside of him on this final lap, down into turns 3 and at turns 4, and we're sure enough going to clear the 19 of Truex on this final lap here in Michigan. As we exit the corner, Kyle Busch will come through to get win number 3 on the season, career win 73, as we come through to cross the line just in front of Truex for the 5th finishing position. Brad Keselowski comes up just a tiny bit short for P2, which is certainly not what he wanted now, as, like I said, he very well might have to win to get into the playoffs if Matt Tifft makes it into the top 30 in points here within the next couple races. And there's my quote after the race. It said, "Decent day for us. We weren't the fastest, but still got a good finish out of it now with a top 5. Definitely, I felt like we finished in the area where we should have now, as we do have a video message."
Nice job out there recently. You're starting to turn some heads. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Joey Logano. Now is Keselowski. I don't even remember getting into him, but I guess we apologize to him anyways. But as always, if you guys did enjoy this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. Before we end it, we obviously have to look at the playoff grid. There's big things happening, obviously. A weird season it has been for the playoff grid, and I think next season's going to be a lot more calm, I hope. Now, as it's been, like I said, really weird, and we're going to see where Matt Tifft is, because Matt Tifft is kind of the driver that could change everything right now, and as obviously he is P31 in the points, so you see Boyer's the closest guy behind that cut line, 87 out, so he's going to have to win for sure. We only got 3 races left in the regular season. So Keselowski, Jones, and Truex still really aren't safe. We could still have 3 new winners and kick them all out, but we'll see what happens here. Now, as we're going to check where Matt Tifft is before we end this episode, as he's likely closed that gap a little bit more to P30. There he is in P31. He's 11 points out, so he's still got some work to do. So we'll see what he can do in Bristol. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.